Okay, folks, welcome to Fun Theory, where we take a perfectly good idea and we twist it until it's nearly unrecognizable.
Yeah, we basically take a big old dump in the idea box.
That's one way to put it, I guess.
Well, you know me, I like to be, blunt.
And today we're going to be talking about a movie pitch that is so spectacularly stupid, it's almost impressive.
It really is. It's like someone took a bunch of random ideas, wrote them down on slips of paper, threw them in a blender, and poured the resulting word vomit onto a PowerPoint presentation.
And the best part is, this wasn't just some drunken brainstorming session in someone's basement. This was actually pitched to studio executives, people with money.
Yeah, people who are supposed to have, some semblance of taste and judgment.
And the subject of this cinematic abortion, none other than Snow White.
Ah, yes, the classic tale of a young woman, a wicked stepmother, and 7 dwarfs.
But there's a twist, so mind-bogglingly stupid. You want to slam your head against the wall repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, this isn't your grandma's Snow White. This is Snow White with a little something extra.
Time travel.
Time travel. Yep, you heard that right. Snow White, but with time travel.
As if the original story wasn't exciting enough.
Right, like it was really lacking something. I mean, what's a fairy tale without paradoxes and anachronisms?
And the Pitchman actually had the gall to present this as a selling point. Like it was some revolutionary concept, Snow White.
Yeah.
But with time travel.
It's like saying Moby Dick, but with jet skis. Or Pride and Prejudice, but with robots.
And you want to know the F-bomb of a reason they give for how time travel works in this monstrosity?
Oh, please do tell. Enlighten us.
The magic mirror.
The magic mirror. Really? That's the best they could come up with.
Yep. Apparently, it's not just a mirror, it's a goddamn time portal.
A time portal, seriously. So all this time, the evil queen was just a few magical incantations away from conquering the space-time continuum.
Makes you wonder why she was so obsessed with being the fairest in the land when she could have been, the mistress of the universe.
Right, like mirror, mirror on the wall, who's got the most powerful time-bending artifact of them all.
But no, she's stuck asking about her looks, while Snow White is gallivanting through history.
And gallivanting she is. Apparently, this time-traveling mirror sends Snow White ping-ponging through various historical eras.
It's like a really messed up game of historical hopscotch.
With Snow White as the unsuspecting pawn bouncing between centuries with no rhyme or reason.
And where does this temporal pinball machine take our fair princess?
Yeah.
Oh, just some of the most random and ill-fitting settings you could imagine.
So like a really bad historical fiction novel.
Oh, way worse than that.
Yeah.
We're talking ancient Rome, where she's apparently fighting gladiators.
Gladiator Snow White. That's a visual I never needed in my life.
It's off to the Wild West for a high noon showdown.
Because nothing says Snow White like a dusty saloon and a quick draw duel.
But hold on, it gets even more gommed up.
Oh, God, there's more. I'm almost afraid to ask.
Snow White ends up in Elizabethan England, where she helps Shakespeare write Hamlet.
Helps Shakespeare write Hamlet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just disrespectful on so many levels.
Oh, and did I mention they throw in zombies?
Zombies. Zombies and Shakespeare. What fresh hell is this?
Apparently the Pitchman thought it would add some excitement to the Bard's classic tragedy.
It's like they took everything sacred about literature and history and decided to piss all over it.
And the audacity of this asshat to compare this abomination to Doctor Who, saying, think Doctor Who, but replace the sonic screwdriver with poisoned apples.
That's not a comparison, that's blasphemy. Doctor Who is a beloved science fiction institution with decades of lore and mythology. This is just a dumpster fire of stolen concepts and lazy writing.
It's like saying, think Citizen Kane, but replace the sled with a whoopee cushion.
Okay, now I'm just getting pissed off.
And we haven't even gotten to the dwarfs yet.
Oh, God, the dwarfs? Don't tell me they're time travelers, too.
Well, not exactly. But get this, instead of the classic 7 dwarfs, we get a historically inaccurate dwarf Avengers.
Historically inaccurate dwarf Avengers? Now, you're kidding, right?
I wish I was. We've got a medieval night dwarf, a pirate dwarf, a Renaissance inventor dwarf.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. It's like they just threw darts at a history book, and whatever era they landed on got a dwarf assigned to it.
And the cherry on top of this shit sundae, a caveman dwarf.
Caveman dwarf? Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Complete with grunting, club-wielding, and dinosaur riding.
Dinosaur riding? What the actual... Where do the dinosaurs even fit into this mess?
Apparently, the Pitchman thought it would be visually stunning and appeal to a younger demographic.
You know what else would appeal to a younger demographic? A coherent story and characters that don't make you want to gouge your eyes out.
And this genius actually said, Caveman Dwarf rides a pterodactyl. It practically markets itself.
No, it practically guarantees a lawsuit from paleontologists for misrepresenting prehistoric fauna.
It's like saying caveman dwarf eats a time-traveling cheeseburger gold, I tell ya.
I'm starting to think this Pitchman is just messing with us. Like, this has to be some elaborate prank.
And to add insult to injury, they compare this dwarf collection to Pokemon, like Pokemon, but with dwarfs.
So, Snow White is basically Ash Ketchum, but with a fetish for vertically challenged historical figures.
His whole thing is like a fever dream gone wrong.
And what about the evil queen in all of this? Surely she's not just sitting around polishing her time-traveling mirror.
Oh no, she's busy too. She's gone full-on supervillain trying to rewrite history to her liking.
Sounds about right. What kind of historical shenanigans is she up to?
Oh, just the usual. Trying to steal the Declaration of Independence, canceling the invention of pizza.
Canceling pizza. That's a crime against humanity.
And for the grand finale, giving cavemen lasers.
Giving cavemen lasers. Okay, now they've officially crossed the line. This isn't just stupid anymore. It's dangerous.
It's like they took every bad idea in the history of bad ideas and crammed it into one movie pitch.
And what's the evil queen's motivation for all this? Is there like some grand scheme, or is she just a bored, time-traveling sociopath?
Who knows? The pitch doesn't really bother to explain it. It's all just random acts of historical vandalism with no rhyme or reason.
So basically, it's like watching a toddler play with a history textbook. Just randomly ripping out pages, scribbling on them, and setting things on fire.
Now for the climax of this cinematic F-bomb. It's Snow White and her dwarf avengers versus the evil queen in a dystopian future.
Of course it's a dystopian future. Why not just throw every sci-fi trope in there while we're at it?
Snow White's apparently learned all sorts of skills from her time-traveling adventures. She's a master swordsman, a crack shot, and who knows what else the Renaissance dwarf taught her.
So basically, she's a one-woman army ready to take on the evil queen and her army of laser-wielding cavemen.
And the weapon she uses to defeat the evil queen. You guessed it. The poisoned apple, but with a twist.
Oh God, don't tell me it's a time bomb.
It's a time bomb.
They turned the poisoned apple into a time bomb. Seriously.
Yep. Apparently the pitchman thought it was a brilliant subversion of expectations.
It's not subversive, it's stupid. It's like saying, in our version of Cinderella, the glass slipper is actually a nuclear warhead.
And the prince, oh, he's there too. But he's basically just comic relief constantly showing up in the wrong time period, looking bewildered.
So he's basically the Jar Jar Binks of this whole mess.
Pretty much.
Right.
By the end, Snow White's probably like, look, just stay here and try not to break anything. I got this.
It's like the Pitchman was accidentally trying to create a feminist icon out of Snow White by making everyone else around her utterly incompetent.
And when the studio execs asked if this might be a little too complicated for kids, the pitchman actually had the balls to compare it to Marvel movies.
Oh, come on. Even a 5-year-old can follow the basic plot of a Marvel movie. This is just incoherent nonsense strung together with time travel.
It's like saying, our movie is as complex and nuanced as War and Peas, but with more fart jokes.
And then there's the line that truly encapsulates the genius of this pitch. Pirate dwarf yelling, "R, fixin' the timeline, be our treasure."
I just threw up a little in my mouth.
It's like they took every pirate cliche and force-fed it to a dwarf.
And of course, no movie pitch would be complete without discussing the merchandising opportunities.
Oh yeah, I can already see the action figures, the lunch boxes, the video games.
Gladiator, Snow White cowboy, Snow White astronaut, Snow White caveman dwarf on a pterodactyl. The possibilities are endless.
It's like a nightmare version of the Disney Store.
And the pitchman assures us that the tone will be comedy gold, citing the night dwarf's confusion with smartphones and the caveman dwarf's reinvention of fire as prime examples.
Comedy gold. It sounds more like comedic lead poisoning.
And along with the laughs, we're also promised epic chases. I can just imagine Snow White outrunning a T-Rex on a horse-drawn chariot.
With a laser-wielding caveman dwarf on a pterodactyl, hot on their tails.
Yeah, because one F-bomb of a movie isn't enough, they even set up a sequel.
Oh God, there's a sequel.
At the end, Snow White returns to her own time, wiser, tougher, and ready to rule, with a laser sword as a souvenir.
A laser sword? Because why the hell not?
And then we get a post-credit scene of all the dwarves having a medieval barbecue together.
A medieval barbecue. That's the best they could come up with.
With roasted boar and marshmallows.
It's like they're trying to create the most bizarre and unappetizing meal imaginable.
And the proposed title for this sequel, Snow White, Time-Traveling Princess to Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. Seriously. It's like they're not even trying anymore.
And the most shocking part of all of this, the studio execs actually bought it.
They bought it. They greenlit this cinematic train wreck.
Yep, they asked for a script.
What is wrong with Hollywood? Have they completely lost their minds?
The Pitchman's final line. Snow White's about to invent sliced bread in ancient Greece. Gold, I tell ya.
Sliced bread in ancient Greece. This guy is either a genius or a complete moron.
I'm leaning towards moron.
So there you have it, folks. The Snow White time travel movie. Not just a bad idea, but a monumentally stupid idea.
What kind of hallucinogenic drugs were these people on when they came up with this? It's like they raided Salvador Dali's medicine cabinet.
This whole thing makes you wonder, is there a point where thinking outside the box just becomes shitting on the box and then setting it on fire?
And the answer, folks, is a resounding yes. The Snow White pitch is Exhibit A.
So next time you're feeling uncreative, just remember this story. It could always be worse. You could be pitching a Snow White time travel movie with dinosaur-riding caveman dwarfs and poisoned apple time bombs.
And on that terrifying note, we'll leave you to ponder the depths of Hollywood's insanity. Sweet dreams, folks.
Yeah.
And try to avoid any poisoned apples.
Especially the ones with a digital countdown timer.
Until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and for God's sakes, don't let anyone pitch you a Snow White time travel movie.
Or any movie for that matter.
Good night, everybody.
Sleep tight.